Think all the way back to 2010, you just got home from school and you've got about 14 cents in your bank account and you're scrolling the Xbox Live Arcade just praying for a trial of a game that doesn't absolutely suck. And then you see it's a literal ad for Doritos and it's completely free. Most advert games are absolutely garbage. They're usually broken, boring, or just feel like a commercial you can't skip. But Doritos Crash Course, this was actually good. Like, ruining your friendships at 2 a.m. kinda good. Today we're looking at the weird history of the Crash Course series, how it became the most downloaded game on the console, and why the sequel ended up becoming a ghost that you can't even play today. To really get why this worked, you have to remember how obsessed we were with our Xbox avatars back then. They weren't just menu icons or profile pictures, they were literally us. And Crash Course was the first time we got to see our digital selves get absolutely bodied by a giant swinging hammer. It was awesome. The physics in this game were a little insane. Your character felt like they were made of jelly, and if you clipped a ledge, you didn't just stop, you went into a full ragdoll somersault. It was hilarious. It turned every mistake into a clip you wanted to show someone later on. And the local play, that was the secret sauce. This was the cheap friend's house game. You didn't need a $60 disc. You just needed 4 controllers and enough snacks to survive the night. It was pure, unfiltered shenanigans with your friends or your family. You weren't playing for stats. You were just trying to make sure your buddy didn't cross the finish line before you. That was the entire point of this game. Now, this wasn't just a local game. The online play was actually great. You could jump into a lobby with 3 randoms and race through the stages like your life depended on it. And unlike the sequel, the original Doritos Crash Course is still alive. You can literally still go play online with your friends if you wanted to. So since it was built on the Xbox Live architecture and didn't rely on a specific service server, you can still fire this up on your Series X or even your 360 and still find matches today. This game is pretty much the cockroach of the Xbox Live Arcade. It just refuses to die, and it still holds up pretty well even in today's standards. Now, to give you an idea of how big this game actually was, we're not just talking about a successful ad with Doritos, we're talking about a total takeover of the Xbox Live Arcade. Within the first 2 weeks, Doritos Crash Course pulled in over 1.4 million players, and by the time the dust settled, it had over 15 million downloads. That's 15 million people playing an ad for Doritos on Xbox Live. It's honestly mind-boggling. At its peak, the concurrent player count was rivaling AAA releases. Why? Because the gameplay loop was addictive as hell. The game was essentially a digital version of American Ninja Warrior. It wasn't just running to the right, you had to master the timing of giant swinging hammers, conveyor belts that changed directions, and those infamous bouncy pads that would launch you into the stratosphere if you hit them at the wrong angle. Some of the later maps actually are pretty difficult. They're super technical. You have to be perfect with your jumps, the way you swing through the ropes, and all this other stuff. This is still a very arcade-like game, but at some points, it is a little challenging. It was kind of like a perfect run game. You'd finish a level in 40 seconds to a minute, see your friend was at 38 seconds on leaderboard, and you would immediately hit restart. It was super easy to learn, but if you wanted that gold medal, you had to be frame perfect, and there was nothing better than impressing your friends with a really nice record time. So the first game is a smash hit, millions of downloads, people are actually asking for more. So in 2013, we got the sequel, and on paper, it's better in every single way. They added actual mechanics, wall jumping, swinging, sliding. It felt like a less mini game and more like a real platformer. But the environments actually had a budget this time. You weren't just in a gym or some weird arena. You were in the Amazon or Antarctica. It looked great. But this is where it got really weird. By 2013, the free-to-play bug had been the industry. Doritos Crash Course 2 wasn't just a free download you owned, it was a service. You had to earn stars to unlock levels, or you guessed it, you can pay to skip the grind. It felt a little less like a gift from the chip gods and more like a calculated business move. You also see something very similar happen with these free-to-play games in the modern era of gaming. The best example is looking at the new Skate game, the 4th edition of the Skate series. They just came out with Season 3 on that game. One of the new features that they're marketing is a brand new map that you can explore, find new traits, whatever. But there's a kicker, you have to buy the battle pass in order to play the new map that they just added, even though the game's been out for, what, 6 8 months now. So you can see why people would be a little upset or frustrated with these newer free-to-play games, but it all started back in 2013 with the second Doritos Crash Course. The biggest shift though was the vibe. DCC 1 was a party game, DCC 2 was a competition. They focused heavily on global leaderboards and online matchmaking, where it all just became about the run. It was technical, it was fast. If you were a speedrunner, you loved it. But for the casual person who just wanted to see their avatar fall off a treadmill, the soul was kind of missing. It traded the 4 friends on a couch chaos for one guy in a headset grinding for a top 100 spot. It completely eliminated the whole vibe that was so perfect in DCC 1. The reason why DCC 1 worked so well was because it was marketed and it was played as a party game. It was a game that you played with your friends or other random people. It was never about getting the best score or being on top of the leaderboards. It was just about having fun with your friends, and they completely shifted away from that when DCC 2 came out. And that brings us to the real tragedy of the sequel. See, DCC 1 was a simple download, you own it, you keep it. DCC 2 was built as a live service before we even knew what that really meant. In 2014, less than a year it launched, Microsoft pulled the plug. They deleted it, it vanished from the store. If you didn't have it on your hard drive right then, it was gone forever. While the first game is still sitting there waiting for you and your friends, the sequel became an absolute ghost. A 2000 experiment that proved sometimes being bigger and better just makes it easier to lose. And at the end of the day, the Crash Course saga is just a reminder that sometimes simpler is better. We didn't need live service variables or microtransactions. We just needed a way to laugh at our friends' avatars for free. It's rare to find a game today that doesn't want something from you, your time, your data, or your money. Crash Course only wanted you to have a good time and maybe think about buying a bag of chips on your next gas station run. The ultimate right place, right time moment, a weird experiment that turned into a core memory for millions of us. So, did you ever actually finish the Amazon levels in the sequel, or were you too busy failing the first jump in the original with your boys? Let us know in the comments. This has been the D-Pad. We are Division Zero. We'll see you in the next one. Peace out.